Alright, hi everybody, I'm Cameron Yusa.
I'm Adrian Shear.
And as two women in society, we have a few questions and things of that sort of, are women actually equal in today's society? You might be asking, why should we care? Because women earned the right to vote in 1920, so doesn't that technically make us equal to men? But as an example, Ryland, what do you want to be when you grow up?
A physician's assistant.
Physician's assistant. Alright, so you're going to the University of Mount Union. So I want to be a physician's assistant, and I also graduated from the University of Mount Union. Right? Let's say you get a job after you go to grad school, we go to the same grad school, we're in this together, right? You get a PA job right after school. Let's say you make 100 grand. Pretty good right after school, right?
Yeah.
Alright, I get the same job, we're working at the same place. Why do I only get 80,000? That's because on average, women make 80.5 cents to a man's dollar.
Alright, so our thesis was women should be presented with an opportunity for an equal role in all aspects of society.
And why is that? It's because today's society, women have equal opportunities to get the same level of education and that sort, and meet the qualifications. And in general, a qualification means that you have the right skills and education and work experience to do the job that you've been presented with. So since I can get the same education, the same work experience, and the same level of skill that Ryland does, we should be making the same amount of money. And in regards to this, Plato says that a male and female whose souls are suited for medicine have the same nature, but a male doctor and a male carpenter have different ones. And because of this, he's saying that revolutionary, basically, he was one of the first of his time to say that women should be put on an equal field to men, and that there is more of a difference between a male carpenter and a male doctor than a female doctor and a male doctor.
Alright, so for politics, we wanted to start out with the definition, the activities associated with governance of a country or other area. And these are just some statistics that are global throughout the world. So only 28% of the world's population that are women are parliamentarians, 21% are ministers, and 47% of countries have had a female head of state. So we had a really long quote for this one, but Plato says, "Then, my friend, there is no pursuit relevant to the management of the city that belongs to a woman because she is a woman, or to a man because he is a man, but to the various natural capacities that are distributed in a similar way between both creatures, and women can share by nature in every pursuit, and men in every one, though for the purposes of all of them, women are weaker than men." And these are just also some statistics that we found, that only about 20% of the U.S. Congress is comprised of women. And worldwide, only about 22% of the national parliamentarians were female in January of 2015.
And as an opposing view, Aristotle, who was a student of Plato, so he came after Plato, decided that women's place in society were to bear children, and that's it. And in regards to this, Aristotle says that the female is softer in disposition than the male, is more mischievous, less simple, more impulsive, and more attentive to the nature of the young, which means that we should just stay home and raise the kids. And that the male, on the other hand, is more spirited than the female, more savage, more simple, and less cunning. And he also says that the female is, as it were, a mutilated male. And in regards to Plato, this view was represented by Glaucon in the Republic, Book 5, when they were having the discussion of whether or not women should be equal in society.
Okay, so our kind of rebuttal to that argument is women do have a choice, especially now in this society. A definition of a choice is an act of selecting or making a decision when faced with two or more possibilities. For this one, the quote was, in the case of both male and female sex, then if one of them is shown to be different than the other with regard to a particular craft or pursuit, we will say that that is the one who should be assigned to it. Bringing this back to the medicine quote about there's more difference between a male doctor and a male carpenter than a female doctor and a male doctor. It's just showing that Plato believed that we had these certain natures that we are assigned to different roles in society, not just based on sex. And for women around the world, we have a few examples of current women in power. Angela Merkel is the current Chancellor of Germany, and she is on the left. And Helle Thorning-Schmidt is on the right, and she is the current Prime Minister of Denmark. And this is just showing that women just don't have to stay at home and could potentially have a role in politics or government.
And also as an example, if these women in society today still believed what Aristotle said, that these women would not be so revolutionary in leading their own nations, they would be staying at home raising the kids. And so the question we have for you all is, because Aristotle came after Plato, and Plato believed women should be equal, and Aristotle believed that women have no place in any sort of authority, can it happen again? Because simply generations apart, Aristotle believed Plato was wrong. So do you think this could ever happen again?
Well, let me just clarify. So you're asking, do you think like suppression of women can happen again?
Yeah.
Well, Emily, we were actually talking about this yesterday, Emily, and she thought that it actually could be reversed now that women are actually making a lot more advancements, that men are going to get suppressed now because women are going to go radically out of their way to try to be at the top, and then it's going to just like cycle that way instead.
I don't think so, because when Plato had his ideas, he like shared them with people, but nothing actually changed in like the government in ancient Greece. Like society itself didn't change, but like in today's world, like it is changing. The whole world is changing. Women are becoming more prevalent. They are making more than they used to. They're finding their ways to more higher spots in in ruling classes and stuff. And so I think it'd be a lot harder for all of society to flip the other way again, rather than just Plato having that view and then flipping to Aristotle.
Right, and we'll also open up this time to any questions if you guys have any. Tim?
I've been actually really interested in this topic as of recently, and I just have some questions for you guys. So back to like the pay gap. Do you think it pertains to women's choices versus men's choices in life?
Can you be more specific?
Well, with flexibility.
Okay.
Women are usually more flexible with time versus men when it comes to family life. The male is more likely to work more hours than a woman who would like to spend more time with their children, which is not a wrong thing, but that does also affect pay. And when it comes down to children, women actually make single women without kids actually make more, 8% more than men in the same situation, single men without children. And in places like Memphis and Atlanta, they make 20% more.
Okay.
So do you think it applies to life? I mean, like their choices?
I think that it does depend, because like today, women can't be penalized or fired for taking things like maternity leave. And it's also not fair that like men don't necessarily get paternity leave like women do. But I still think that it's like prevalent, like for sure, because that was like just in general the national average of women versus men, like regardless of kids. So the fact that in Atlanta and places like that, that they're making 20% more than single men, that's still factored into what we put up there. So
Can I just follow up on, I'm not questioning, but how come you have those statistics in your head?
The Daily Wire.
Okay.
I've been watching a lot of Ben Shapiro videos because he's really funny. He's hilarious.
I mean, I just pulled up a Forbes article that says same thing. It's about education, years of experience, and hours they work. That's why women, the statistic is that they're being paid less. then
And like I said, there's nothing wrong with that.
ain't nothing wrong with it, but
But
like, that's
when
why
it
the
comes down
statistic is
to
what
it, if they make less due to those choices, that's
Yeah,
the
that's
expense
why.
of those choices.
Yeah,
Like I
it's
said,
the
there's nothing wrong.
opportunity cost.
But you're suggesting that that was taken into account.
Yeah, I also read a study, I'm sorry, I don't remember where it was, but while we were doing research for this, that like groups of people were given the same applications. One, the name on it was John, and the other's name was Jennifer. And they were more likely to pick John, even though it's the exact same application, just because it was a male. Is there a hand over here?
Other questions? Is this the end?
Yes.
Okay, other questions?